If you are feeling uninspired or going through a little creative rut, I feel you. I've been there a lot myself. We all have frustrating times making music, don't we? Times where we feel stuck making 8-bar loops instead of full beats or songs that actually excite us, and feeling like we're wasting time in the process. But I'm here to say it is not a waste of time. Today we're talking about a way that you can make use of all those little ideas that seem to go nowhere. My name is Sensho, and you're watching In the Beat. I've always loved sampling because it makes it really easy to be creative. You take an existing thing and you use it as a springboard for other creative ideas. And the best part is that we can use this process to give life to older, seemingly stale ideas that we've had. So head on over to where you export all your ideas to, and hopefully it's not haphazardly all over your desktop like I do, and listen through them all. We're going to take these and we're going to reinvent them. I've done this a lot in the past, and so I have a couple of guidelines that will help you find the ideas with the highest potential for this. What does it mean for something to be good to sample? There's a big reason that jazz is one of the most popular genres to sample. It's because there's so much variation in the chords and melodies that it gives you a lot of color to play with when you sit down to sample it. And of course, they tend to be ridiculous musicians, so that definitely doesn't hurt. Now, on the other hand, a simple 1-5, 1-5 chord progression tends to give you fewer options to work with in your palette, which you may not want. So it's usually better to pick something with at least a couple of interesting changes. The other aspect that we might want to consider is the arrangement. Sure, there's nothing wrong with sampling solo piano chords, for example, but the more layers of instrumentation that are stacked up, the more texturally rich and unique it becomes, which then translates to what you create with it. Now, obviously, there are some diminishing returns at play here. Like, you don't need 1,000 layers for it to be a good sample. Should I try that? I got kind of stoked about that for a second. Just keep in mind that it tends to give you more options in the sampling process. Oh, and if you are enjoying this video so far and you want to stay in the loop for more, hit that like button and turn on the notification bell. And lastly, there are no rules. These are just guidelines. Madlib can make entire beat tapes out of single records. Anything can be sampled creatively. Even just changing the pitch of a simple idea that you've had can be inspiring enough for you to create something new out of it. So once I've found a loop or idea that falls in line with one of those two considerations, if it has drums on it, I'll go back to the original project file of the idea and export it again without the drums, because I like to add those in after I chop it up. But it does save a lot of time to always export a version without drums right after you make it, which brings us to a very important point. I know everyone hates this part, but do yourself a favor and stay organized real quick right now. Make a folder, name it something like My Samples or Recycle Me or something a lot better than that, and then start exporting your idea versions in there with the tempo and key info. This is a huge time saver and you will thank yourself later on. That being said, I went back and found this old idea. I don't really like it, but it has enough chords and textures in there for me to play around with. Not to mention it's at a really slow tempo, which means it'll be fun to speed up. So let's grab that idea and throw it into Ableton and then do something crazy with the sampling. If you want to learn more about sampling processes in Ableton, check out our other videos on how to sample using Simpler or Drum Rack, which will be in the description below. Remember how I said I wanted to speed up the sample? We're going way up, like 18 semitones up. Here's how that one sounds. It sounds pretty cool. Let's pull up a sampler so we can slice and dice this thing and start layering some stuff together. So I took these little chops and ran with them, and it turned into this. So as you can see, this idea has been completely transformed from what it was, and I never would have come up with that had I not resampled an older idea that I didn't even like in the first place. Every single thing that you make can come back around to inspire something else. It's pretty amazing. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you in the next one.